Welcome to a Kids Against Hunger packaging event. You're going to have a good time. You're going to remember this for quite a while, the fun you had in packing food for hungry people around the world and around the corner. This is the package that we're going to be filling, and there's an interesting story behind it. In 1974, Richard Proudfoot was a very successful businessman in the Minneapolis area. He was trained as an engineer. He owned 6 companies at that point, was already a multimillionaire. But in 1974, when a Hurricane Fifi struck Honduras, he volunteered to go down and help rebuild. He was busy building. By his own admission, he became exhausted and had to take a break. And during that break, he began to see the children that were starving to death. On that trip, he felt a call to feed the starving children of the world. He came back home and began to send them cakes and granolas and things like that. And he said, that isn't doing the job. Because of who he was and where he was, he went to food scientists of Pillsbury, Cargill, General Mills, ADM, all of whom had research facilities in the Minneapolis area. And he got them to work together. He said, what can we do to find a formula for feeding these starving children of the world? It took him 3 years of trial and error to come up with a formula that's in this package. But it's very successful. We're now one of over 100 satellites across the country that package this. Together we're doing over 140 million meals a year, shipping them to some 45 different countries. Each of us have to raise our own funds. Each of us decide where we're going to send the product, but each of us are helping feed the hungry people of the world, and you're becoming part of that process. That's a little bit of the overview. Now here's the way the process starts. The first thing that happens is you'll all be asked to put on one of these bonnets. I know it looks kind of funny, but the fact is you don't like to have hair in your food, and neither do the people that are getting this food that we're cooking up. The next thing you're going to need to do is to clean your hands. Sometimes you're going to have a lot of soap and water available to do that. Much of the time you're going to be using these wipes. And when you use these, it's very important you wipe between your fingers and everything to get your hands just completely clean. You don't want to do anything to contaminate the food that we're packaging. And then the process begins. There will actually be about 11 people down each one of these tables doing the packaging process. The first thing is we'll take these bags and put them onto the funnel. There'll be 2 people doing this, one on either side. As each one takes off a finished bag, the other one will get one ready and put it on from the other side. Now, the people that are using these ingredients have to have these gloves. Only the 4 people doing the ingredients need these. But it's very important to have these on, so again, you don't contaminate the food. It's a nice healthy product that we're creating here. Now the first thing we put in is this. This is the power pack of the whole thing. This is an artificial flavoring with 21 vitamins and minerals added in it. You level this off to get just the right amount. And that's very important because in this bag you want to make sure that it's just getting what they need. The next thing is a rounded tablespoon of these dried vegetables. They add flavoring and nutrition and just help make it a better product. Now the next thing is a heaping cup of this processed soy. This has oil taken out, so it has a long shelf life, but it is very high in protein. Starving people need protein very much. When we think of protein, we usually think of red meat. But pound for pound, this has 3 times the protein of red meat. It makes this whole bag 52% protein. Now the last thing we put in is a rounded cup of rice. And the reason we do this is all over the world they know how to cook rice. In fact, many places they couldn't read the label no matter what language it was in because they don't know how to read. But they all know how to cook rice. To cook rice, you have to boil water at least 20 minutes, which will sterilize even almost all water. And so it makes a healthy meal they're going to be getting. Now once the bags are filled, we put them in this holding tray, and then the tray comes out of here for weighing them. We check the scale to make sure it's registering 0 grams with the tray on top, and then we put this into the tray to weigh it. Now this has 380 grams. We need to have it 395 to 400 grams, and so that means we have to take some more rice and put it into the bag. If it weighs over 400, then we take some of the rice out of the bag and bring it down until it's between 395 and 400 grams. Then usually we put it into another holding tray similar to this, and then we go to the sealing. Now to seal it, this is a very important part. There's a dark blue line on the bag. You reach down to get that and pull it tight just from the outside so that there's as much air out of there as you possibly can have, and then you push it down like this, and somebody else pushes down on the sealer until it holds it for 3.5 seconds. There's a little red light that'll come off, and then you know you have it sealed just right. And then we're ready to package it and move it on to the next step. The next step is to put it on this. This is lined out, so you have 3 rows of 6, 2 deep. That makes a total of 36 bags. Once you have 36 bags here, then you begin boxing them. You don't start until then, and while they're boxing them, then the next one would start the next one by turning the bag the other direction, so we don't confuse them. If we get more than that, we can't put them into the boxes properly, and then they'll heap up too much.